The Samsung Galaxy S26 series is just around the corner, and as always, we pretty much know everything there is to know. What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and we're going to be breaking down all of the leaks and rumors SuperSaf style so you know exactly what to expect on the 25th of February. Now this year, as previous years, we will have 3 new Samsung Galaxy S26 devices. A Galaxy S26, a Galaxy S26 Plus, as well as a Galaxy S26 Ultra. Now, earlier, we did have rumors that Samsung was going to be ditching the Samsung Galaxy S26 Plus and replacing it with an S26 Edge. And then the S26 base version would be called the S26 Pro. However, because of low sale numbers of the S25 Edge, looks like Samsung is scrapping the S26 Edge altogether, and they're going back to their usual formula of 3 devices, S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra. Now, what are the new S26 devices going to look like? Well, they will be familiar, but with some updates. So we will still have the triple rings on the left-hand side at the back, but it looks like Samsung is going to be getting rid of those thick discs around the camera rings and replacing the design with a camera island, similar to what we've got on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, we've seen these leaked designs on multiple different renders, including some hands-on footage of dummies. And from all of these leaked renders and dummies, we also see that the S26 Ultra will have more curved edges. We can also see that there is a bit of an arc-shaped top for the S Pen, so this is going to be all the way to the side. And unfortunately, there is no news of Bluetooth coming back to the S Pen. That went with the S24 Ultra, and it looks like Samsung is not going to be bringing this back, unfortunately. Now for the build materials, the S26 and the S26 Plus are likely to have armor aluminium for the frames. But some new news we have on the S26 Ultra is that titanium may be dropped and they may be going back to armor aluminium. A recent leak from Ice Universe states that according to some leaks, the 4 basic color names for the S26 Ultra are Black Shadow, White Shadow, Galactial Blue, and Ultraviolet. You'll notice that these names are no longer labeled as titanium. Now, I for one will be glad not to keep repeating the term titanium when referring to the colors of the S26 Ultra, but it's not going to be as premium. So Samsung adopted a titanium frame for the Ultra series after Apple did, and now that Apple has gone back to aluminium, it looks like Samsung is also going to be doing that. I'm sure Samsung is going to list a bunch of reasons why they opted for something other than titanium, like Apple did in their keynotes, cooling and other things, but hey, no more titanium it seems. Now for the color names, these have been leaked by a retailer in Finland. And it looks like we're going to have a black, white, cobalt violet, as well as a sky blue for all the S26 devices. We've also seen some leaked images of the SIM card trays, which give us an indication of what the colors will look like. And based on this, there have also been lots of renders. Now, as always, Samsung does have some exclusive colors on Samsung.com, so there are likely to be additional colors to the base 4 that we see here. Now, it looks like we might also be seeing some changes for the dimensions. So the S26 Plus is likely to remain pretty much exactly the same, but the S26 Ultra is going to be slightly larger in terms of the height and width, but it's going to be slightly thinner at 7.9 millimeters. The S26 is going to have the biggest change. It is going to be slightly larger in terms of the height and the width. And that is because rumors are suggesting that we're going to get a slightly larger display for the S26. We've seen multiple reports that the S26 will have a 6.3-inch display, up from 6.2 inches, but the S26 Plus and the S26 Ultra will have the same display sizes as we had last year. These displays are likely to have LTPO M14 OLED technology, and as expected from Samsung, they're going to be absolutely stunning and beautiful displays. But there is a killer feature that is rumored to be on the S26 Ultra, which I don't believe we've seen before. And that is a privacy display feature. Now, this was initially leaked by Sam Mobile and it was found in the One UI 8.5 update. And from what we understood at the time, when this feature is activated, you'd be able to limit the viewing angle of the display, similar to what you get with certain screen protectors. But the most recent report, and this has actually been teased by Samsung, is that this is going to be much more advanced. So from what we can see, not only will you be able to make the whole display private, but you can actually choose what areas of the display you'd like to make private, such as notifications, password fields that you're filling in, and some of these will be controlled by AI via the device. Now, personally, I've not seen a feature like this, and I think you'll agree with me, this is going to be very, very cool. Now, how is this going to work? Well, Ice Universe has explained it as spotlights, so each pixel usually emits around 180 degrees. But with the S26 Ultra, it seems that it will be able to control each individual pixel and limit the light for the angle of view, which is amazing. Now, as far as we can see, this feature will be limited to the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. It won't be coming to the S26 and the S26 Plus. Ice Universe has also said that the new generation of ultra high strength Gorilla Glass will eliminate the need for tempered glass screen protectors. So the S26 Ultra display is also rumored to be very durable, and we've also read that this will have 10-bit color. So based on all of these leaks and rumors, it looks like the S26 Ultra at least may just have the absolute best display on any smartphone when it releases. Well, what about performance? Well, it looks like we are going to have a dual chip situation like we've had in previous years. So for the S26 Ultra at least, it looks like there will be a consistent chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. For Galaxy is usually a slightly overclocked version. But from all of the leaks and rumors that we're seeing, for the S26 and the S26 Plus, there is going to be a split between the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy and the Exynos 2600 based on your region. Now, the Exynos 2600 is the world's first 2nm chip for a smartphone. And from what we can see, it does perform very well. How will these differ? We're going to have to wait and see when the devices are released. I personally like to have consistency across devices, but I guess it all comes down to supply and distribution. Now, the storage variants for the S26 Ultra and the S26 Plus are rumored to stay the same, but some good news on the base S26, there is no longer going to be a 128GB version. It looks like we are going to get a base of 256GB and going up to 512GB, the same as what we're going to get on the S26 Plus. Now, this actually makes sense because recently Apple ditched the 128GB version for the iPhone 17. So we have a base of 256 and now the S26 will match. Now, what about the cameras? Well, as far as we can see, generally the camera hardware is gonna remain the same for the S26 and the S26 Plus. So we're looking at a 50-megapixel primary camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera. Some rumors are suggesting that we may see a 12-megapixel telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom, 30x space zoom. This will be up from the 10-megapixel camera that we've had for quite a few years. Now, of course, we will have a new ISP image signal processor with the new chips, which should improve images and videos on the new devices, but the hardware remains relatively the same. And that is also the case with the S26 Ultra. We're likely to have the 200-megapixel primary camera, a 10-megapixel 3x telephoto camera, a 50-megapixel 5x telephoto camera, as well as a 50-megapixel ultra-wide camera. Now, according to Ice Universe, there are going to be some hardware improvements on the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra cameras. The primary camera may have a larger aperture, so f1.4 from f1.7. This will allow a lot more light, and Ice Universe has also stated that there may be a new lens that's going to combat lens flare. As well as that, we may have APV video, which will be great for professional level video quality. And we've also seen rumors that the front camera is going to be slightly larger for a wider field of view. Now, of course, as soon as the S26 Ultra is in hand, we're going to be doing a SuperSaf style camera comparison versus the competition. If you want to see that first, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Now for software, we're of course going to get Android 16 with the latest version of One UI 8. And Samsung, as always, does promise 7 generations of OS updates with 7 years of security updates. There will be some new Galaxy AI features. We've not heard about them specifically, but Ice Universe has stated that Samsung will reserve its newest and most advanced AI features for the S26 Ultra. So unlike previous years, it looks like some of the more advanced AI features may only come to the S26 Ultra to make it stand out a little bit more. Now for the battery sizes, some good news and some bad news. So firstly, good news, the S26 will have a slightly larger battery, 4,300 milliamps, up from 4,000 last year. But the battery sizes for the S26 Plus and the S26 Ultra are likely to remain the same. So 4,900 milliamps for the S26 Plus and 5,000 milliamps for the S26 Ultra. There was some earlier rumors that Samsung might be going for around a 5,400 milliamp hour battery, but unfortunately, this is now looking like it won't be the case. Samsung does seem to be pretty cautious in using silicon carbon technology, which we're seeing with the competition, and they do distribute more units than everybody else. Personally, I would have liked to have seen at least a 6,000 or 6,500 milliamp hour battery on the S26 Ultra, because although the S25 Ultra has good battery life, it really falls behind the competition. Now, although wired charging speeds are rumored to stay the same for the S26 and the S26 Plus, so 25 watts and 45 watts, the good news is the S26 Ultra is rumored to have up to 60 watts of charging. Still not as fast as the competition, but faster than what we've had. And this should be able to charge the battery from 0 to 75% in 30 minutes. We've also seen reports that all of the S26 devices will be Qi 2 compatible. So they will support up to 25 watts of Qi 2 charging. Will the magnets be built in? This is still a question mark. We're not sure. We might have to do the same thing of using a case with magnets to enable Qi 2 like we've had to do with the S25 series. Now for the price. A South Korean publication reported that Samsung has decided to launch the Galaxy S26 series at the same price as the Galaxy S25 series. Now that might only be the case in Korea and other regions. Of course, we know there is a lot of politics and tariffs and things that are happening in the US, so these prices may change a little bit, but at least in many regions, the pricing will remain the same. I'll put the prices of the S25 series on screen to give you an indication. What about the release date? Well, you heard me say earlier on that February 25th is the date of Unpacked. We've seen multiple reports for this, and Ice Universe has actually given a breakdown of all of the dates that you can see. So the Unpacked event on February the 25th with the pre-order period and the official market launch on March the 11th. So the 25th of February is the main date that you want to be putting in your diaries. And of course, I'm going to be doing lots of SuperSaf style coverage as soon as the devices are out. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Now, there might be some new last minute leaks and rumors coming in the next few weeks, and I will be covering those on my podcast channel, SuperSaf Speaks. If you don't know about it, you do now. Go ahead and subscribe to that as well to see the latest updates. So that's the Samsung Galaxy S26 series. What do you guys think of it? Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I can't wait to test it out, especially that privacy display feature. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. If you want to see some related videos, I'll link those here and here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.